Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all my Cardfight Vanguard Overdress, Lyrical Monasterio, Vampire Ghosts deck profile for post Lyrical Melody. This is the first of the Lyrical Monasterio deck profiles I'll be doing on the channel, the main deck I wanted to build from the set. This is a Vampire Lyrical deck that focuses on gaining different ghosts on the field using your main go-to Vampire Ride deck, Felty Rosa, to call out all these different units every time you reveal a normal ghost, and then just also being able to swap out different ghosts from the drop zone back into your hand. So it does give kind of a Grand Blue-like feel with these Lyrical Monasterio cards. I guess maybe some of the ghosties moved on to the Bermuda Triangle nation when all of the nations moved around and joined forces and whatnot. But it's a really, really awesome deck, so let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the Ride deck, with our starter being the Admired Dear Sister, Felty Rosa. Well, most of the Ride change, if not all of them, from the Lyrical Monasterio set all focus on the same unit for the Ride deck, with our grade 0 being the grade 0 version of Felty Rosa, still having the when rode upon, if you went second, draw a card skill. And our grade 1 is Beautiful Day Off, Felty Rosa. When this unit is rode upon, use Soul Blast 1 to choose up to one ghost from your drop zone and put it into your hand. So the good majority of different ghosts you run just adds for consistency to add cards back to your hand, making up for the discard you used for the Ride deck target. And for our grade 2, we are running Talent of Enjoyment, Felty Rosa. When this unit is rode upon, reveal a ghost normal unit from your hand, put it on the top of your deck, and choose a ghost from your drop zone and put it into your hand. So this sets up your go-to grade 3, which is your Rondo of Eventide Moon, Felty Rosa. And I'll let it be known now that the grade 1 and 2s are the only copies that I'm running in the deck, but they do have the additional Rearguard power, which you can Soul Blast them and add them back to your hand with some of the other skills, so remember that. But still, our main go-to grade 3 is Rondo of Eventide Moon, Felty Rosa, which for the additional grade 3s, we are running 3 more copies of this card, so we can make full use of the Persona Ride skill in the deck. When you drive check reveals a ghost normal unit, you may call that unit to an open front row rear guard, and if you called, you counter +1, and this unit gets drive +1 until end of that battle. So you perform the additional drive check for the battle, and you will perform an additional drive check even if it's the final drive check. So with it, you have a guarantee to hit some pretty good chances of hitting a trigger. If not, you'll just have the option of calling out a rear guard that can attack against your opponent, having other rear guards that can then also bounce against your opponent, and either go into the soul, return to the deck, you name it. So you always have those front row rear guards open to use with Felty Rosa. For the other grade 3s that I am running in the deck, I also run 4 of the Capriccio of Circulating Star Ingrid. When this unit is placed on rearguard, other than from the hand, you counterblast 1, choose one of your other rearguards in the same column as this unit, and stand it. And on rearguard, when this unit attacks, this unit gets plus 5,000 until end of that battle. And at the end of the battle, put this unit on the bottom of your deck. So a perfect guard to reveal off of the drive check for Felty Rosa, because then you'll just call it to rear. Being able to then also re-stand, let's say whatever was in that same column as well, giving you the additional boost to use with Ingrid, but also giving you the +5 to then place on the bottom of the deck to clear up that rear guard. Then if you were to just have this unit on the rear guard circle before your Vanguard even attacks, to clear it up so you can then attack with your Vanguard and have additional cards to then call out, particularly, and also the chance that you'll get an additional Ingrid to call out from your drive check. So for this, I would say is definitely needed. It's a very, very good backup grade 3 to run, just as the consistency to call out rear guards onto the field. With the other grade 3 we are running in the deck is the Selfie Practice Annalise. With this one, on rear, at the end of the battle, this unit attack, while boosted, put it into your soul. Choose one of your rear guards and it gets plus 5,000 until end of turn. So if this is one of the other ones you attack with, you can at least put it into the soul to provide soul charge and soul blast power later on. And the +5 can then go to another unit that might not have hit, and it's at the end of the battle that it attacked while boosted. So not only will you be able to attack with this card and provide the additional boosts needed for it, then it can go into the soul. You can then reveal the drive check, and if it's a card like Ingrid, calling it out and then using Ingrid to re-stand the card that was needed for the mandatory boost for your Annalise to then attack against your opponent. That's it for the grade 3s. Moving on now to the grade 2s. I run 4 of the Dedicated Serenade, Eleanor. When this unit attacks on rearguard, you Soul Blast 2, and this unit gets plus 15,000 to end of that battle, and at the end of the battle, put this unit unit on the top of your deck. So not only that, this is just another guaranteed card that you can use to then call out against your opponent. It does take a Soul Blast of 2, but you have plenty of cards to rely on that Soul Charge power, including an Elise, and also just more setting up the cards in the deck to use with some of your other units, including the Persona Ride that you'll perform with Felty Rosa. I also run, for more of the additional soul charging power, 4 of the hair braiding expiration Hellwig. When this unit is placed on rear during your battle phase, put this unit into your soul and draw a card. So once again, this won't be one that you'll call out for, the additional attack. This can be called to a back row rear guard, because if you call this card out, you'll just place it into the soul, gaining an additional draw. You'll still perform the additional drive check with Felty Rosa. You just won't be using it for the boost. This can be provided for the additional soul power by going into the soul to then be used for other cards and their soul blasting ability. And that's it for the grade 2s. We'll now move on to the grade 1s. I run 4 of the Little Lady Helmina. When this unit is placed on rear guard, if you have another ghost on your rear guard, choose one of your rear guards. It gets plus 5,000 to end of turn. So this is an 8k grade 1, but still great for the additional power plus that you can provide to other units on the field, because you have the trigger units to rely on, but sometimes you just need that little extra boost. And if this card is going to be providing a boost to something else on the field, it can be great just to call it out to that open rear guard and then have it be the 5,000 power given to another rear guard on your field for that power boost. It would be really, really awesome if it was for the Vanguard also, because then it would just guarantee a hit against your opponent, but I think it's more just for the practice of being able to hit against your opponent there. And also I run 3 of the Join Grasp Ernesta. I thought of running 4 of this card. If I were to do so, I'd maybe drop down the number of Helmina that I run, but on the back row rear guard, when your other ghost is placed on rear during your battle phase, you stand this unit. So if you're not using your option for your Ingrid for the boost, just being able to call this out and then not have to use the counterblast for one of the other rear guards, you could just stand your Ernesta. So very, very useful there for the option of the restand, but it also doesn't have to just rely on Ingrid. It could be any of your other units that you call out. That this card definitely does come in handy, because you do have the counterblast for Ingrid, but anything else you call will at least just restand when you use your Ernesta for that option. And that's why I only thought of running 3 of this card, because once again, it's just a card you'll have set up to be ready to use for all the other Lyrical Monasterio ghost vampires you call out onto the field. And then for the last of the grade 1s, just 4 of the Sentinel. Sadly, we don't have a Ghost Sentinel. I think they knew it would have been too busted if they gave us a, Ghost Sentinel to make use of. So we're running the Diva of Refreshing Calm Christine. I feel it is just one of the better setup cards for the use of the deck, and also for the fact that it looks the most like a Ghost compared to all the other Sentinels we run, but still sharing the same option with all the other Sentinels in Overdress format. If it cannot be hit until the end of that battle, and if your hand has 2 or more cards, choose a card from your hand, discard it. So if you only have the 2 Sentinels in your hand and you guard with the 1 and only having 1 other card in your hand, you won't have to drop it for the discard cost, and you'll be able to then save it for the other guard against your opponent. Very, very useful if your opponent reveals an over trigger, giving the 100 million to rear guard. And that's it for the grade 1s. Moving on now to the grade 0s, going with the 8 critical lineup. So 4 of the Grinning Dragon Scale Ilse, and also 4 of the Glutton Nora. There are only 1 ghost trigger for the deck, which is Nora. So we're going with the Ilse. I feel it's one of the cuter critical triggers. There's plenty of them, but also we have to remember the rule where we're only going to be able to be using at least 8 of the critical triggers in the deck. You can't go over the 8 number, so that is the maximum cat you can run in the deck. But for the other additional triggers, we're also running 3 of the Knowledge Power Saskia. This is from the trial deck. It is a ghost unit, that's why I'm running it, but other than that, just a generic draw trigger. And lastly, the 4 Languid Relaxation Margaret, another ghost unit, and just once again fitting, being that the majority of cards in this deck, aside from the ride deck, are all ghost. With the final over trigger, we didn't have a ghost over trigger, but Demonic Fever Gaviera definitely fits the bill for the deck. And with it and all the other over triggers for Lyrical Monasterio share the additional effect of during this fight, you get during your turn, all your rear guards get plus 10,000 power. The earlier you get this card in the game, the more pressure this card will provide against your opponent, because all your rear guards attacking will have that enormous boost, and if you Persona Ride, even more of a power against your opponent. So when you damage check it, you have the 100 million to guard against your opponent, but it's definitely better off used like all the other over triggers when you drive check it. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy the video. This is the start of the Lyrical Monasterio deck profiles. I know we have plenty of other ones, dragons, human gems, and also I believe the angels. So plenty to look into for the next deck profile. But until then, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, Kira Qualia out.